Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, man, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business here on this hump day, second day of being able to franchise tag players. Thus far, nobody's been tagged just yet, and there's no rush. You've got until the 5th of March to go ahead and do something. We've got, a little bit of showmanship going on between DeMarcus Lawrence and the Dallas Cowboys and things. DeMarcus Lawrence letting them know, listen, I've done everything I was supposed to do. Do not tag me again. You got Jerry Jones saying they're going to take care of business. Well, we'll get this thing done hopefully by March 5th so we don't have an ugly situation like with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Before I get on to the topic here, I'm beginning to see some Cowboy fans saying, maybe we should go for AB. You know what? I don't want that. I know the price tag is dropping because he's 31 years old. They're saying a second round, maybe even a third round pick is all it's going to take. But I believe that regardless if it's a fourth or a fifth round, that guy will be a cancer to the team. Sorry. Just don't believe in these diva wide receivers. With that being said, some people out there that believe that this is Jason Garrett's song. The Cowboys did not renegotiate that contract. He is officially a lame duck coach who is playing for his job. And like it always is on First Take Dallas Cowboys, the topic is the Dallas Cowboys even in the offseason. Let's go to the videotape and see what they have to say about Jason Garrett and his job security.
It all adds up to this is it for Jason Garrett. And I agree, it's two games. It's a wild card game and divisional round, get to the conference finals, or it's divisional round and conference championship and get to the Super Bowl. It's got to be markedly more than it has been in the past because the excuses are off the table. And I will tell you this. I'll tell you one more thing that's going on with Jerry Jones. I believe that people in New Orleans should be nervous. This is a play. It lines up for Sean Payton, and if not Sean Payton, Lincoln Riley. It will be all in on one of those two gentlemen next year in Dallas, and it might just line up perfectly for Sean Payton to come in and take the place of Jason Garrett.
Well, it's a trifecta because I don't disagree with either one of you guys. This is Jason Garrett's last year in Dallas. He will not be the head coach of Dallas for the 2020 season. The reason why is because he's not going to get to the conference finals, Will Kane. The Dallas Cowboys are not going to get to the conference finals. This disgusting, nauseating fan base that doesn't deserve anything but.
Wait a minute. Stop right there. Stop, Stephen A. Smith. I know you do not have room to talk about the Dallas Cowboys or the fan base. Because you know something about the Joe Boo Sports Report. We always seem to be at the right place at the right time. And I do remember you at the NFL Commissioner's Party, Stephen A. Talking about the Dallas Cowboys and everything else like you do. I saw you all over Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones to the point where I was ready to scream, get
Look at that. Stephen A. Smith. I'll get on Jerry Jones. I got you, buddy. I got you. We know you love the Dallas Cowboys. Joe Boo Sports Report exclusive. Stephen A. Smith living it up with the Dallas Cowboys. And I got it.
Seriously. Stephen A., come on, man. I was standing right there beside you and told you, I verbatim said to you, I'm one of those nauseating Dallas Cowboy fans that you hate, and I want to debate you. I didn't hear you say, you're a nauseating Dallas Cowboy fan, get away from me, poo. You snapped a picture with me. But anyway, let's go back to the videotape.
Misery will continue to be miserable because you will come up short yet again, and that will be the end of Jason Garrett. Jerry Jones had an epiphany. If you recall, just a few weeks ago, he revealed that he didn't extend Jason Garrett. He's basically letting them know, yo, you got to get it done. I'm not getting any younger. I acknowledge the fact that I might be running out of time, all right, because I'm no young puppy anymore. And, you know, I've given you the assets that you need. You've got an elite defense. You've got an elite running back. You've got a quality quarterback. You've got a quality wideout, okay? The personnel around you is there. There is simply no excuse. And if I'm going to hold players accountable and everybody else accountable for getting the job done, when do I get to look at you? Now, we can sit up there and say, okay, it doesn't apply to him or it doesn't apply to Stephen Jones. But the reality is, I can't believe I'm saying this. I mean, it's almost like I've gone over to the dark side for crying out. But when you look at Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, if you really, really think about it, they've done their job.
Yes.
Stephen Jones has compiled the personnel necessary, all right, for Jason Garrett not to have any excuses. I have no idea why all of this video is up while I'm talking. The camera's not on me at all. But that's a different story for another day. I guess they don't want to. I guess the producers don't want people to see my face. But here's the point. All the personnel is there. The personnel is there. Jerry Jones, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones have done their job. It's Jason Garrett that has to do his job. And if he doesn't, Jerry Jones, I believe, has reached a point where this is the last chance for Jason Garrett.
Last piece of the puzzles, Will, does, like you bring up Lincoln Riley and then quickly go to Sean Payton.
Yeah.
But to me, Lincoln Riley is so clearly the answer here. He has revolutionized the NFL from college. He has not yet coached there as a head coach. The Dallas Cowboys are the glamour franchise. They have everything you would think he would need. Why do you shift so quickly to Sean Payton? I would think you'd be all in. Jerry Jones, better hire Lincoln Riley.
No, I'll be happy with either. Trust me. And you can say it's because my bar has been lowered after 9 years of Jason Garrett. Or I do think that both are going to be probable successes in the NFL. But Sean Payton's track record is more proven. He's won in the NFL. He's won a Super Bowl. Lincoln Riley is still 2 to 3 years into his project at Oklahoma, and it looks impressive. But Sean Payton, and you add to that, by the way, his relationship already in Dallas, where you know that they can work together. Sean Payton and Jerry Jones have worked together already, and we know that's a requirement. We know that's part of the job description in Dallas. And Sean Payton, it just checks all the boxes.
I'm surprised at Will. I'm surprised at you. You're going the super conservative route. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but Lincoln Riley is the big imagination, big Dallas Cowboys kind of pick here over Sean Payton.
I'd like to chime in here by saying this: I'm not sold on either of them. Neither of those. Neither
I'm not sold on Sean Payton.
Let me explain. Lincoln Riley is the real deal on the offensive side of the ball. But when you're head coach, you're an overseer and responsible for a lot of things. And even though I know you could say you got your defensive personnel intact, that Oklahoma Sooners defense, by and large this season, was not very impressive. That's number one. All right, so I got trepidation. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be an upgrade from Jason Garrett. I'm not saying it would be a bad hire. I'm just not saying that I don't consider him the golden boy that all of y'all consider him. In college, yes. On a pro level, I mean, I just don't know.
That's rational skepticism. That's right, rational.
That's right. Now, with Sean Payton, here's my deal about Sean Payton. You've had Drew Brees all of these years. You ain't been back to the Super Bowl in 9 years. You had Drew Brees. So I look at Sean Payton and I'm like, excuse me, if I got a quarterback like Drew Brees, I mean, I'm expecting a little bit more. Do you understand that even Mike Tomlin has been to more Super Bowls with Big Ben Roethlisberger than Sean Payton was with Drew Brees? And I know Sean Payton's a damn good coach, don't get me wrong. But when are we going to talk about, there were years where he didn't even make the playoffs with Sean Payton as the head coach.
The Cowboys have everything. Even if their quarterback isn't stellar, he's solid, but they don't have a real weakness when you look at the team.
That's right. So take back full circle to what you said earlier, Stephen A. And this reminds me, we've had debates in the past. I think I debated you specifically, Max, on the job Jerry Jones has done. You know, whether or not Jerry Jones is a problem in Dallas. No, he's done his job. He and Stephen have put talent. They put talent. You know, the idea that Jerry's a meddler is kind of funny after 9 years of runway for Jason Garrett. He certainly had his opportunities. But they've got the talent. And Stephen A., when it comes to Sean Payton, at various times in that tenure, he hasn't had a defense. He hasn't had the talent he's had over the last 2 years.
But he's the head coach, Will. That's his
fine.
fault.
That's fine, but he doesn't have the same. He would. Well, he's not the GM in New Orleans. He's not
I'm
the
just
GM.
saying, but you play a role. You're Sean Payton. You're a Super Bowl champion. You play a role in the personnel that's accumulated. I got to look at you in that regard. And as it pertains to Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett, even though I think Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones have clearly done their job, the one problem with Jerry Jones above all else, you could say his ego, but it's the fact that he holds on to a guy like Jason Garrett, whose only claim to fame is that he's loved by Jerry Jones.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Now, as far as let's back up here now, because there's a lot of coaches out there that have been one and done in the Super Bowl. There's only one coach out there right now that goes to multiple Super Bowls year after year, and that's Bill Belichick. And as far as Mike Tomlin has not been there with Big Ben and AB since the earlier 2000s here. He hasn't been there in this decade. So to say that Sean Payton, who has Drew Brees, okay, well, what other coach has been there multiple times other than Bill Belichick? I'll wait. Because unless you go to Seattle, who went to 2, I can't think of anybody else on the NFC who's been there more than that over the last 10 years. But I thought Michael was commenting. So, and I'll look at that and say their offense has always been stellar. The defense has been the problem. You'll remember they had Rob Ryan, who messed up our defense, left in disgrace and said, I'll be hired in 5 minutes. Well, it took longer than 5 minutes, and he ended up making basically the New Orleans Saints, like our defense was, 32nd. New Orleans Saints defense was 32nd. And now I'm happy to report that guy's in Washington right now. So from the standpoint of what I personally know, and I've been blessed to have gone to the NFL Commissioner's Party, I believe 5 times in the last, say, 6 or 7 years since Jason Garrett has been the head coach. And one thing I've always seen is Jason Garrett at the Commissioner's Party until this year. He was not there. What I did see, though, was Stephen A. Smith all over Stephen and Jerry Jones, hugging up like, like I said, needing to get a room. So we can look at this and say that, yeah, this is without a doubt the hot seat, prove it year for Jason Garrett, where it's got to be all in, which is part of the reason why I think the Dallas Cowboys are going to make a move for Earl Thomas and look and say the same way they got Amari Cooper, trying to throw Jason Garrett every opportunity to save himself. And for Jerry Jones to say, see, I told you Jason Garrett's the guy. But if it doesn't work out, I know the plan, or at least I think it would be one hell of a plan. And we'll talk about that at another time. And I got a great idea from Law Nation that I want to share with you guys too about something that I want to do for my quarterback. And it involves all of us together. So we'll be talking about that coming up at another time. I'm Mark Holmes with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and I'd like to get your thoughts on Lincoln Riley or Sean Payton. Do you guys believe that will be the next coach for the Dallas Cowboys? All right, I look forward to your response. I'll see you soon.